The news coming out today has sparked intense discussion across the nation, especially among seniors who rely on Social Security benefits to make ends meet. Former President Donald Trump has announced that a new plan is on the table to increase Social Security payments by an additional $400 per month. This announcement is being hailed as a major win for millions of retirees, veterans, and disabled individuals who depend heavily on these checks to cover housing, healthcare, and daily living expenses. For years, many seniors have voiced concerns that Social Security benefits simply haven't kept pace with inflation or the rising cost of essentials, and now this proposal is igniting both hope and debate. To understand the significance of this announcement, we need to put it into context. Social Security remains the single largest source of income for most retirees, with nearly 70% of beneficiaries depending on it for more than half of their monthly income. Over the past few years, the cost of living has skyrocketed. Grocery prices, gas bills, prescription medication costs, and even utilities have all surged. While annual cost of living adjustments, known as COLAs, are designed to help beneficiaries keep up with inflation, many have argued they fall far short of what is needed. A raise of $400 a month, if enacted, would represent one of the most significant boosts in the program's history, and it could mark a turning point for millions of households. Trump's announcement is also fueling political conversations, as Social Security has always been a central issue in American politics. Seniors are among the most active voting groups in the nation, and any promise to protect or expand their benefits carries substantial weight in upcoming elections. While supporters are celebrating the news, critics are demanding more specifics. How will this raise be funded? Will it require additional borrowing, higher taxes, or reallocation of federal spending? These are the pressing questions that lawmakers and analysts are already grappling with as they dissect the implications of Trump's proposal. It's important to note that while the announcement has been made, the path from promise to policy is rarely simple. For a Social Security raise of this scale to become reality, it would need congressional approval and a structured plan for implementation. Some experts suggest that the funding could come from cutting wasteful government spending or redirecting resources from other federal programs. Others argue that without meaningful reform to the Social Security Trust Fund, long-term stability remains at risk, and short-term raises may not solve deeper structural issues. These competing views are now part of the growing conversation, but for seniors listening to the announcement, the immediate reaction has been one of optimism and relief. Advocacy groups representing seniors have already weighed in. Organizations like the AARP and various retirement associations are calling the announcement a long overdue acknowledgement of the financial struggles older Americans face. They point out that many retirees live on fixed incomes that have been eroded by inflation and rising healthcare costs, leaving them with difficult choices between paying for groceries, medications, or utility bills. A $400 boost each month could ease that burden significantly and restore a sense of dignity and security for millions. For those living below or just above the poverty line, this increase could be life-changing. Public reaction has also been swift. Across social media platforms, seniors and their families are sharing personal stories about how the additional funds would impact their lives. Some describe how the raise could cover the cost of vital prescriptions they've had to ration. Others say it could finally allow them to keep up with rent without borrowing money from relatives. The human element behind the numbers is undeniable, and that is why this announcement is capturing so much attention. It's not just about dollars and cents, it's about security, independence, and peace of mind for an aging population. Meanwhile, opponents of the plan caution that large increases in Social Security payments could further strain an already fragile system. Economists warn that unless carefully managed, such a raise could accelerate the depletion of the Social Security Trust Fund, which is projected to face shortfalls in the coming decades. Some policymakers argue that reforms must accompany any raise, such as adjustments to payroll tax caps or retirement age requirements, to ensure the program remains solvent for future generations. Without those changes, they say, the promise of extra monthly benefits may be unsustainable in the long term. Still, the political reality is that the announcement has struck a chord. Trump's proposal is being framed as a direct appeal to seniors, a demographic that has historically played a decisive role in elections. With millions of Americans over the age of 65, the idea of a guaranteed $400 increase per month is a powerful message. It positions Trump as an advocate for seniors and places pressure on other candidates and lawmakers to respond with their own plans. Already, some members of Congress are signaling support, while others are demanding a more detailed explanation before committing. This announcement also reopens the broader national debate about the role of Social Security in the 21st century. Originally created as a safety net to prevent poverty among the elderly, it has evolved into a critical lifeline that touches nearly every household in America. As life expectancy increases and healthcare costs rise, the program faces mounting challenges. At the same time, it remains immensely popular, with overwhelming bipartisan support from the American public. Any changes to benefits, whether increases or cuts, tend to provoke passionate reactions, and this latest announcement is no exception. The conversation around this Social Security raise is not just about policy, it is about values and priorities. Supporters argue that if the government can allocate billions toward defense contracts, foreign aid, and corporate subsidies, then it should certainly be able to provide meaningful support for the very people who built and sustained the nation through decades of work and contributions. Seniors, they say, have paid into the system their entire lives, and a $400 monthly raise is not a handout but a return on investment, a fulfillment of the promise made when they contributed through payroll taxes. This line of reasoning resonates deeply with those who see Social Security not as welfare, but as a contract between generations that must be honored. In households across the country, the prospect of a $400 increase means real changes in daily life. Imagine a retiree who currently receives around $1,500 per month in benefits. After rent, utilities, and medical bills, little remains for anything beyond bare essentials. An additional $400 could cover a healthy supply of groceries, keep up with rising energy costs during harsh winters, or fund transportation that allows seniors to stay active and engaged in their communities. For those living alone, it might reduce the crushing anxiety of deciding whether to buy medicine or food. For couples, it could provide stability that allows them to age in place rather than being forced into more expensive institutional care. The ripple effects extend far beyond the individual, touching families, neighborhoods, and entire communities. Healthcare is another critical area where this raise could make a difference. Prescription drug prices have been a long-standing concern, with many seniors reporting they skip doses or cut pills in half to make supplies last. An extra $400 per month could mean adherence to treatment plans, fewer hospitalizations, and improved overall health outcomes. Preventing a single emergency room visit or hospitalization not only spares individuals stress and pain, but also saves the healthcare system enormous costs. In that sense, advocates argue, increasing Social Security benefits is not just compassionate but fiscally smart in the long run. Still, the skepticism lingers. Some analysts point out that the cost of implementing such a raise could reach hundreds of billions of dollars annually. Without a clear plan to finance it, there is a danger of adding to the national debt. Critics warn that short-term generosity might create long-term instability, leaving future retirees in an even worse position if the trust fund becomes insolvent sooner than expected. These voices call for a more balanced approach, combining benefit increases with structural reforms to payroll taxes, retirement age adjustments, or investment strategies that could bolster the program's finances. The challenge is finding consensus in a deeply divided political climate. Politically, the timing of this announcement cannot be overlooked. With elections approaching, Candidates from both parties are keenly aware of the influence seniors wield at the ballot box. Promising to safeguard and expand Social Security is a proven way to secure trust and loyalty from older voters. Trump's move has effectively forced the conversation onto the national stage, ensuring that Social Security will be a key issue in debates, campaign ads, and policy discussions. Rivals will be pressed to clarify their own positions, whether they support the raise, propose alternatives, or argue for entirely different solutions. The competition to win over seniors' votes is now more intense than ever. Beyond politics, the cultural impact of such an announcement is profound. Social Security is woven into the fabric of American life, symbolizing collective responsibility and the idea that no one should face poverty in old age after a lifetime of work. A major raise in benefits reaffirms that commitment, sending a message that society values and protects its elders. For many seniors, the announcement represents validation, a recognition that their struggles are real and that their voices are being heard at the highest levels of power. That sense of acknowledgement carries emotional weight that cannot be measured purely in financial terms. It is also worth noting that a raise of this magnitude would not only benefit seniors but also stimulate the broader economy. Retirees typically spend most of their income locally on goods and services within their communities. More money in their pockets translates to more spending at grocery stores, pharmacies, diners, and local businesses. Economists often highlight that Social Security benefits have one of the highest economic multipliers of any federal program. By boosting seniors' purchasing power, the raise could generate jobs, strengthen small businesses, and support economic growth in regions that rely heavily on consumer spending. As the conversation unfolds, one thing is certain: the announcement has shifted the national spotlight squarely onto Social Security and the future of retirement in America. Lawmakers will be pressured to take a stand, advocacy groups will intensify their campaigns, and seniors themselves will be watching closely to see whether words translate into action. For many, this moment feels like a turning point, a chance to finally see meaningful reform that acknowledges the dignity and needs of older Americans. Whether or not the promise becomes reality will depend on political will, fiscal discipline, and the ability to bridge divides in pursuit of a common goal. For now, seniors across the country are allowing themselves a cautious sense of hope. The announcement has sparked new conversations at kitchen tables, senior centers, and community gatherings. People are imagining what life might look like with a little extra financial breathing room. They are envisioning holidays without debt, doctor's visits without dread, and the ability to support grandchildren without fear of running short themselves. These small but significant changes represent the true impact of policy decisions, how they play out in the everyday lives of citizens. In the days and weeks ahead, the debate will continue. There will be fact checks, budget analyses, partisan battles, and heated discussions about sustainability. But beneath all the noise, the heart of the matter remains simple. Millions of seniors are struggling, and a $400 monthly raise could bring them relief, stability, and dignity. Whether or not it comes to pass, the conversation has highlighted an undeniable truth that the well-being of seniors is not a fringe issue, but a central measure of a society's values. The outcome of this debate will not only shape the future of Social Security, but also define the legacy of those who lead the nation at this critical juncture.